has made it known in his annual report this year that his vision is to go back to Bouganville as an explorer and as a miner. The major issues are really relationship with the landowners. We have said, and I've said many times, that we won't be going back unless we are invited to go back by the landowners.
Land is a mother, land is a lifeline, land is a future.
After almost 20 years, BCL is keen to return back to Bouganville and reopen Panguna mine. The mine was closed down by late Francis Ono when a compensation claim of 10 billion kina was rejected. 90% of Bouganvillians are against BCL coming back to the highland to reopen the mine.
To value the nature, and the people's right. When greed for money, remember this song.
Nasio was a businessman before the crisis. I met him in Arawa and asked him about BCL coming back to reopen the mine. I am one of those who ran a contract with BCL. Unfortunately, I saw that only some of us benefit. I support the idea of kicking out BCL because BCL was not fair with the rest of Bouganvillians. If BCL and government wants to reopen Panguna mine, our office should be set up here in Arawa to get people's view. Benefit should go to every single Bouganvillians from south to the northern tip, earning 1,000 kina per month. In the meantime, I say no to mining.
Land is a future, no mining.
Lynette Ona is one of the outspoken women on Bouganville. She is fighting very hard for BCL and state to pay the compensation claim.
I don't think it's time to reopen Panguna mine when things are not settled. BCL and the state government must first pay the lives of those killed plus the properties destroyed during the heat of the crisis before any talks of reopening the mine starts. The government forces came to kill us because they were protecting BCL. So BCL and the state government are responsible. Without paying the compensation claim, reopening of Panguna mine is not the answer. And I think not only Panguna landowners should talk about Panguna mine, it affects all of Bouganville. So I think every Bouganvillian from Buin to Buka should have a say.
Land is a lifeline, land is a future, no mining.
For the grassroots, the greatest fear is no employment if BCL return.
Land is a lifeline.
As a grassroots of Mekamui, I don't like BCL to return back to reopen the mine. In the past, BCL was not too genuine with us, the grassroots. Majority of employers were outsiders. If it reopens, the situation will be the same again.
This old man enjoys the beauty of the highland and the freedom in his Nasio community, where once when BCL was there, their lives were at risk from outsiders and the mine's pollution. I am from Nasio. I am not happy to hear BCL is coming back. BCL destroy our land and taking the minerals from the ground. In the law of nature where God set aside, we survive from food that we get from plant life. Plant get food from minerals in the ground. BCL returns means they will destroy more of our land and our children will suffer. If government wants to develop Bouganville, focus on agriculture. Cornelius Besia is an assistant protocol officer with the autonomous Bouganville government in the parliamentary service.
Kampung BCL
We as the former BRA fighters, Bissell is not welcome. Bissell causes big damage to our land, and we are not in favor to reopen Panguna mine with Bissell. We don't have other places to move. Bouganville is our only home. That is why we fought to defend our land and stop the mine.
We are hearing the reopening of the Panguna mine by the CRA and the Bouganville Copper Company, and we and I and my people, we totally oppose the resumption of the opening of the Panguna mine, because CRA, BCL, they have a lot to answer to the injustice that they have done to the people of the downstream Jamba River, Lagos area, and the resource owners at Panguna. So, in order for them to come back to Bouganville, they must redress the vast injustice. What I mean by the redress is that they must have to pay for whatever damage they have caused to our environment already, and that is the 10 billion kina original demand that BCL has to pay, because the damage that they have done to our environment is a continuous one. It is still affecting the people of the mining lease area today.
For young men like Timo Mareke, the news of Bissell returning back to reopen the mine is bad news. I am from Rorovana and owns a land at Lolo, where Bissell built power house, filter dryer and the wharf. Me and my family, we don't like Bissell to return back to reopen Panguna mine. When Bissell was here, the royalty that I used to get was 3 kina per year. You can get anything like set trousers with that amount. Therefore, I ask Panguna landowners to make a wise decision before we all suffer again. Although Bissell have started talking with other Bouganville leaders and some Panguna landowners, Panguna mine is still under the control of late Francis Ona's Mekamui government and the no-go zone. At the roadblock, I asked Mekamui Army General Chris Umma why they still maintain the roadblock when there is peace on the highland.
Disra, emino roadblock. Dispara, checkpoint.
This is not a roadblock, it's a checkpoint. We check certain people only, those crooks who stole our minerals and dug the biggest hole in the highland. This checkpoint makes it hard for Bissell to come. If there is no checkpoint, Bissell will go in easily and convince Panguna landowners to reopen the mine. At the same time, it reminds us of 20,000 people killed because of Panguna mine. When asked when will the checkpoint removed, General Umar replied,
One and something people are working by dongen, and independent it must come pass.
Bouganville independence must come first before this checkpoint is removed. Without independence, this checkpoint will remain until God dismantle this planet Earth. Checkpoint, reforms and mining are not the issue. Independence is the issue.